In this episode, we've got disc barrows, we've got Iron Age forts, we've got field boundaries, and more disc barrows. In Charter Thomas, this in the land gemera of Badberry. Old English is the language of the Anglo-Saxon settlers of Britain between sort of 450 and 1100. The people who stole this land from the Welsh. I'm in a place called Chisledon, which has within it a hamlet called Badbury, sorry. And this is up on the hill, a couple of miles from it is a hill fort called Barrows. So there's an Anglo-Saxon charter, 955 AD, and it goes thus: Arest on Bueles Crundel, than on the strata, and lang strata on the berches, sorry. Than on the thorn be stone strata on the Wiltshire stand. And there's much more to this charter, but it's an autumn's day. There's not much light, so I'm not going to be able to do the lot. Well, I'm not fit enough to do the lot anyway. But we'll start here. So the charter, there's nothing more important than property in England, and it's always been the same. And these, pretty much most of the things that we, no, that's not quite true. We've got a load of old English poetry, but anything secular is about power and money. So the boundaries of the charters, it gives us, we're basically around quite close to the parishes we have today. There's a lot of continuity in Britain. We're a very conservative folk. So Badbury is Badbury. Sorry. Yes, it is. And we're at Barbury, which is nothing to do with it really. It's just outside the bounds, but I couldn't. There is a point on the charter about a quarter of a mile that way, but this is outside it. May very well have nothing to do with any of the language in the charter. I have my suspicions. But I couldn't come here. A, it's a brilliant place to park, and B, I couldn't come here without showing you a massive Iron Age hill fort. And it is truly extraordinary. The amount of power the chiefs, the kings that owned these places had to make so many people dig up this amount of earth. But anyway, yes. So the charter starts off as at Bueles Crundel, and if you're learning charters, learn the word Crundel because it means quarry. It's Old English for quarry. It's a hole in the ground that you dig up stone from. Bueles is basically Buell's quarry. So somebody called Buell owned it. A strata is today a street, but it meant in those days a Roman road. And there's two Roman roads. The Anglo-Saxons named the ridgeway along here at the bottom of the hill. There's two basic ways the ridgeway can go. There's the bottom at the top of the hill. At the bottom it's called the Starnes Stret. We'll get onto that in a minute. That's a Roman road because it uses the word stret. So we've got, plus it's Stone Street as well, that should tell us. Then up to the Barrows, and that's where, so we've got some burial. That's where I'm going to go next, along the ridgeway to the tumuli, the burial mounds, and another chart has some names for this, but it's not, we can't be accurate enough to tell you what they are, what they're called, but they're collectively called the Barrows. And then along to the thorn tree, which is just at the bottom of this hill. It's not there anymore, obviously. This was written over 1,000 years ago. So anyway, let's go for a walk. So I like to go places. I have been for quite a while. I used to enjoy going to medieval churches and guessing used to go to medieval churches and guess how old parts of the churches were, and then get on afterwards, test myself and get on Wikipedia and find out. Anyway, you do make errors though, and so I was about to come here and say this place was called Barrows, something like that, by the first English settlers that came here. It's now called Barbury, and I would be right in that, because there's a field over there, half a mile away, that is called Barrows. Now, and we know that from, actually I don't know why you know that, it's on the OS map, and that's Old English, and it can mean the fortification, the bearing, as in carrying, fortification, the bearing camp. But I've just had a look at it's always a good idea to check what you're saying, so you don't make an exhibition of yourself in public. And of course, there was a battle here in Old English times, Anglo-Saxon times, and on the information board it says they were led by their king Barrow, who gave the name to this place, Barrows, Baron Barrow. So I was about to, I don't know whether I should be embarrassed about making assertions like that. So I think it's much more interesting to go to a place and experience the place and try and learn something from it and come to conclusions based on the evidence that you have at the time. But so everything I've said is sort of is true, but not quite as true as the correction on the information board. So there you go. But it makes it less interesting for me because I'm beholden to to scholars. When I want to go into the the English countryside is not really that wild. I would like to go into the English country and make discoveries myself.